This is lecture 3 in Math-Based Tutoring's course on pre-algebra. We're going to continue where we left off in lecture 2 with place value. And just a reminder, we cover all tutoring at high school levels and most college level math courses. So if you need some help tutoring, we tutor online, we tutor in person in the Rosenberg area, Eagle Lake area. Take a look at us at facebook.com/mathspacetutoring. And just a reminder that this course is based on a textbook that's free from Rice University's OpenStax. It is called PreAlgebra 2. Today's lecture is going to start on page 19 in the PDF, or if you have a copy of the textbook, we're going to be on page 11. Let's get started. So last time we were talking about block models and place value. And block values only scratch the surface of the numbers that we can cover. So block values covered ones, tens, hundreds, and in a 3D cube we could do thousands. We need another system, a better system, to cover all of the numbers that we have, because the numbers increasingly, infinitely get large. So we need a system to cover very, very large numbers. Now, we're not going to discuss numbers that are too large in today's lecture, but we are going to discuss some larger numbers than 1,000. When we're looking at a number, we try to divide the numbers up from the right side into groups of 3. And we separate these groups of 3 numbers with a comma, and we call these 3 numbers a period. And inside each period, we're going to have a ones place, a tens place, and a hundreds place. And then the name of the period is named from right to left. So we're going to start at ones period, and then we'll have a thousands period, and then we'll have a millions a period. Let's take a look at what that's going to look like on a graph here. So we're going to look at this big number here, 5,278,194, in a larger place value setting. So like I said, we have 3 periods. Notice that they're all grouped by 3s. Okay. Now this is not 3 numbers in this, but there really is, because the first 2 zeros, we don't really include those. There's no reason to put leading zeros in a number. But the leading period can have 1, 2, or 3 digits in it. So let's take a look at this more in depth here. This ones period has the value 1, tens, and hundreds. And then we go to the next period, which is thousands. And again, we have 1,000, 10,000s, and 100,000s. And then the next period is the millions period, which we have 1 millions, 10 millions, and 100 millions. And this continues in the same pattern. The next period is billions. And the next period is trillions. And you may notice that these, like a bicycle has 2 wheels, by, the prefix by. That means we have 2 millions, actually. It's a million, million. And then try, they used to think of numbers as a million, million, million. So that's why it's trillions. And the next, so they continue as they get bigger. These period names are based on these prefixes. The next period after trillions, even though it's not listed in the chart, is quadrillions, quintillions, sextillions, septillion, octillion, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It goes on and on and on and on. Okay. We don't need to worry about big, large numbers like that now. Maybe in the future you may have to work with large numbers. We read this number here as 5,278,194. All right, let's look at an example. In the number, this large number here, I'm not going to name it, find the place value for each of the following digits. Okay, so I'll put it up real big here. Let's find the number 7. And this first period here is the ones period, and then the thousands period. And we're in the 1,000 period, so we call this the 1,000s place, or the thousands place. We don't really name the 1 there. You can, though, but it's normally not happen. The next place right next to it would be the 10,000s, which is where the 0 is. So 0 is in the 10,000s place. The 1 over here, well, it's in the 1/10s place. Then we come down to find the 6 in the ones, thousands, millions period, and then in the 1/10 millions place. So 6 is in the 10 millions place, and the 3 right next to it is in the 1 millions place, or the millions place. Okay, so now we're going to formally write these large numbers. Where you write these large numbers like that is mostly in checks. Sometimes diplomas, when they write the year out, they'll write it all out in a long, fancy way. But most cases, unless you're writing a fancy report for somebody, or maybe in the future you need to write a essay or something where you're not going to really use numbers, you're going to use word forms, mainly to stretch how many words your document has. Hint, hint. That's where you're going to use these large numbers. So to write a whole number, we start with the biggest period on the left. And we write the name of the 1 or 2 or 3 digit number in the period. The period name, and then a comma. And then we keep continuing doing this to the right until we run out of periods, and the last period is not named. Okay, so we're going to look at this number here, and we're going to name this period. Name this number. Okay, so we have the millions period, the thousands period, and the ones period. The largest of these is the millions period, so we're going to just write the number 37, and then the name of the period, million, and then a comma. So we have 37 million. Then we're going to do the same thing with the thousands period. We have 519,000. And then the last period, we don't name ones, we just put 248. So to name this number, we write 37,519,248. Okay, so let's formally write down how to do this. First, we're going to find the name of the largest period on the left-hand side of the number. As you get bigger and more familiar with this, you see there's 3 periods. It's going to start with millions, 4 period, billions. But as you get larger, larger, and larger, you might need to count these out because you can't mentally count all those digits in your head. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. I can't. First thing we need to do is find the largest period, the name of the largest period. And then we're going to write the name of each number in the period, followed by the period name, and then a comma from left to right. We're not going to name the ones period. Now, here's some important things we need to remember when we write whole numbers. 2-digit numbers, even inside the period, that are greater than 20, that do not end in 0, are separated by hyphens. So 33 is 30-3. And another very important thing here is we never use the word and when we're writing whole numbers. So we never say 103,406, or you never say 103,000. You say 103,000. The word and is reserved specifically for decimals and fractions. All right, let's look at an example. We're going to name the number in words, that big number. And this number is a little bit larger than the ones we looked at in the previous thing. So let's reproduce this big thing on the screen here. We're going to find the name of the highest period on the left of the number. Okay, so the largest place value here is trillions. So we got, and how do we figure that out? Well, we have ones, thousands, millions, billions, trillions. So the biggest one here is trillions. And then we're going to write the name of each number in the period, followed by the period name and a comma. Okay, so we'll have 8 trillion, 165 billion, comma, 432 million, 98,710. And we're not going to name the ones period. All right, let's go back and make sure that every period is separated by a comma. A lot of people forget that little comma there. It's okay that the line goes on 2 different lines. I'm not going to make this so small that it stretches across the screen and you can't see it. So if you need to go to a next line to write the number that are this big, that's fine. One more example here. A student conducted research and found that the number of mobile phone users in the United States during 1 month in 2014 was that number. Let's name that number in words. Okay, so here's our number here. We're going to find the biggest period first. That's going to be ones, thousands, millions. And then we're going to write the 3-digit number in the millions place and the word millions. Okay, so we start 327 million. Next we have 577,000. 529. We do not name the ones period. And we make sure everything is separated by a comma. Okay, that's going to do it for Lecture 3. I appreciate you watching. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments below or send me a message on Facebook at facebook.com/mathspacetutoring. I appreciate you watching. We're going to continue a little bit more writing numbers in Lecture 4. We'll see you there. Thanks for watching.